will be the last episode of this year's indoor garden. There's the final things sown and most things gone outside or transplanted to the hugel beds, the raised beds or many other areas of my garden. So do check out those videos as they appear to see how all these crops are continuing to do. Here we have Rosella, my last Rosella seeds, so we need to bear some fruit from these this year. Grew beautiful 2 last year and they never went beyond a nice bush. We have some jackpy little pumpkins. The ones outside are doing really well. I want to do some more. A few more cucumbers. Last of the peppers. Very last peppers. These are literally from peppers we've eaten. And I just throw the seeds in a pot. Always do very well that way. And coriander. Now, if you can tell me anything about coriander, I know nothing. These are my first coriander seeds. So do let me know what I need to do with these. There's a kit. It's far too hot now to grow indoors. So these are the very last seeds inside. Anything I want to seed now, I will seed directly in the garden. These look like they could be apples coming up. These are orange, kiwi, and we have cabbage, more cabbage, more cabbage. The bottom shelf now has brand new kiwi seeded. If none of these come up, I will give up on doing kiwi seeds. These are all kiwi seeds. I've experimented lots of different ways. So these are literally still in their kiwi form, sliced into 3 parts. Last of the cucumbers, ready to go out. Lots of cucumbers outside already now. Next shelf up again is the last of the peppers. These could actually go outside and sit outside now, but I want to keep the space clear outside because we're now using the patio. So I'll keep these small ones here. These tomatoes were outside in my makeshift cold frame, which is basically just a polystyrene foam from an old electrical item we got at some point. Was the base for a tray and then perspex for the top. You certainly don't need to buy expensive materials to build a cold frame. These were tomatoes that Mike grew, nothing coming up in either of them. He put seeds in water and then we put them in here. They've not shown. And the final seeds of beans. So this will be my 3rd set now of beans. All 4 types. Look back at the last episode where I tell you what all the 4 are. I've only got 3 more growing now because I've got enough of one of them. So these are coming up. This I found in my seed box, sorted it out. Josh from In Yard Homestead gave me snake beans. They were doing very well in the garden last year, but unfortunately I was unable to get out in the garden due to not being able to walk around or do anything, and I lost them all. But this was a bean out of one of the pods. It grew enough to be a pod, so fingers crossed this one will show. As I say, you only ever need one product from your seeds in order to get more seeds to try again. And finally I seeded some more Timmy beans. Now Timmy beans are, I always call things from the place I got them so I remember where I got things from. These are basically a type of, I would say, runner bean or green bean, French bean. I can't tell you exactly, they just call them green beans out here, and we bought them to eat, but it was so I could take the seeds out. This is previous to when I couldn't get any bean seeds. So these are actually all doing rather well. They have their little hats off really now. They get too stringy. Keep them on too long. So yeah, beautiful. They're doing very well, which is good, because the first lot of these I seeded, I didn't get anything. I let them get too boggy. And let's look outside now. So the very last of the outside growing. Again, last of peppers that we've eaten. Literally each time I eat a pepper, I just throw the seeds in a pot. And then we have lots more things coming up. We have zucchinis, we have melons. Last of the zucchini sown. I did actually buy 2 packs of seeds because I didn't have very many coming up initially. They're okay now, but I wanted more sooner rather than later. They're doing rather well in there. These are my Jackby little pumpkins. The biggest one has gone out in the garden. No, my biggest 2 have gone out in the garden. They're in a Frugal bed, so they're doing rather well. You'll see those later. This is the second set that I put the red tags round. And the very last of the outside stuff, anything I've moved from indoors to outdoors. We've got peppers. We've got, these are melons. More melons. Melons. Most of these are melons, but different sorts of melons. Yes, this is a sweet melon, so that's a sweet melon. They don't grow huge like yellow melon. They don't grow very big, but they're very sweet and juicy. More peppers, random tomato, and I did find a random tomato growing in the patio. I'll try to show you that in a minute. I think this is a cauliflower under the net. And the very last of the tomato plants that were over the other side of this patio. We have a fossil. Fossie! And I've tidied up my herb garden. Tried to keep it as herbs now. So here we have my rosemary. I've never grown it before. I've been using it, picking off the leaves. But as I say, never grown rosemary before. So please tell me what I need to do with this. Can I take cuttings? Do I do something to stop it? I know some of them can stop after a year. I want to keep it going. I'm hoping our weather, we're into our summer now. So I'm hoping that will be alright now. Basil, we're just eating it all the time. One of 3 mints I've got in the garden. One of my Malabar spinach. This is liking it over here. It's doing very well. And then we have chives and onion chives and a Mr. Waffles. Everyone loves Mr. Colin Waffles because he appears so much. These are going to flower. I did do a video, I'll try and link below, of how you get these seeds out without any effort. So I'll link that below, so we'll be collecting more seeds. Another chive. Parsley. This, I can't remember if I showed in the last episode or not. This is from my plum, one of my plum fruit trees, a yellow plum. And it was right down the bottom of the shoot. I snapped it off and it was actually rooted into the ground, so I've potted that. If we get another free tree out that would be great. All along here my nut trees that you have to mulch, so I need to deal with those. And then I've put more basil in here, 2 more Malabar spinach, more basil. It smells beautiful out here. I've still got that pile of stuff to sort out, of garden stuff that I've been using. Most of this is keeps. So for example, this is what I carry around, all pots to be transplanted out in other areas of the garden. This, I normally carry my gloves and trowel and any small tools I need, because once I put them down I can't find them again. And then I've got a little basket here that if I'm planting lots of seed packets, I carry around the seed packets in there. So one, they can't fall over or blow away or get lost, and secondly, they stay dry if I put them down and then water. So I keep those. My gloves are in there. I've got some nets I want to sort out. Got some netting. These is a bit of a pile at the moment, but this is where I normally keep all the hand garden tools. So I have my screwdriver, which is the best way to get rid of weeds. Just dig in the screwdriver and you can get out the smallest or the deepest of weeds. Excellent. And my trowel and scissors and tie. Found some cardboard I need to use for the garden. These are plate stands. I want to see if I can tidy them up. Used either direction, they're actually great plant holders. And some other bits and pieces there. And this is all for recycling. Any plastics I've used, the box will come back because I keep my firewood in that to bring into the house. But that's all plastics I'm not using anymore, or I've got better versions. And for example, these were bottoms of original water bottles, but I don't know if you can see, they bow up here so they don't sit flat, so I've got rid of all those now. I've got better ones. The area you saw last, absolutely full of everything I was using to grow, pots and plastics and everything. It actually looks a huge area now, this space. So a much better area. And I need to cover the bar stools and paint those when I've got no other projects on. Snake plant continues to grow really well. And I've shown this before, the way that the plant, the flower, actually looks like a bee or a wasp to detract predators. On our table, this was what I salvaged a little while ago from the recycling centre. Cleaned it up. I didn't want to do anything to it. Somebody said to me, don't do anything with it because it's nice, it looks old, which I agreed with. That's what attracted me to it in the first place. So I've literally just got a damp cloth and gone all round it to get off any cobwebs or any dirt. And we now have our coasters in here for drinks for outside. It is lined with plastic, which again I obviously cleaned up. And this is good because they don't get dusty if we have a sandstorm or anything. And then on this corner I put some more basil because this should keep some pests away if we're eating in the garden. And then where was that? I haven't finished clearing the patio. I've still got some pots there. But here's the tomato plant I found. Mr. Waffles here. Randomly, there's a tomato plant. So I was going to pull it out, but I said to Mike, we covered tomato plant growing in the middle of the patio. This all needs de-weeding and sweeping and whatever, and I've got to find a home for that pot that we salvaged. And this is where the 2 strawberry plants are hanging. There's the other one. This is one of my other mints in the garden. There. So that wraps up my outdoor garden because they progressed to outside. So look out for next year's series. See what I'm growing next year, starting off, and how early I begin my germination. As I say, check out the further episodes where I'm planting out and showing you other areas of the garden where they've all been transplanted to see how they grow. It's Pebbles. Till next time, Meraki.